specific or something. I need to learn things more better good. So many windows. I think I'll quit the Discord for a moment. Maybe I'll make this a little smaller. What made my own face smaller? Not what I need. What the heckums? Just is the size it is, I guess. Fun. I don't know if those come across or not. I don't know. All right. Just in a few seconds, I'm just going to go. All right. This is like okay. Links and headers is okay. I know I don't like how small the H6 is. That's a little too small for my liking. But we're not, almost don't want to think about the preview. I think in the controls, I'm just going to turn off the preview because it's not what we're focusing on right now. I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I just did. Editors only. I'm not going to worry about the HTML. What we are doing in this screencast is continuing to work on, like, let's say I made my own CSS reset only. We're not calling it a reset because we're not really resetting things in the CSS. We're just providing opinionated things, starter things that I would probably want to do on just about any project, probably just about any pen that I start with, almost certainly, but just like good things that I would do on any project. To my liking only. So that's one of the principles, I guess, is that like do what feels useful to me in this CSS reset. You were using logical properties all the time. And we are doing accessibility things that are easy to forget about, but that are, I don't know how to write this as a principle, but we already ran across in the last couple of days some like very niche ARIA things that there's, chances are that I wouldn't do, So it turns out this is going to be a longer project than I thought, but that's kind of cool. One of the things we started with was we did look at this particular pen because it listed a bunch of CSS resets. I want to be influenced by all of these things. We looked at, so this is showing what the browser defaults are with no reset. We looked at the Meyer one. We looked at normalize. We looked at sanitize. We looked at sanitize. I have no idea what reset is. These are a little old. We have not yet gotten into the real new ones, I guess. Swap style sheet. Oh, so I guess the URLs for these are just sitting in the HTML somewhere. What is a reset? That's where we're kicking off today. Reset. Let's see if it still exists on the internet. I don't know if it does or doesn't. Looks like it doesn't. So let's skip that. Bootstrap we know we're going to look at because theirs is called Reboot Now, and we'll get there. Or I guess that's a different, but I don't care. Reboot is the new Bootstrap one, so that's all I really care about. Semantic UI. Does it still exist? It does, but it's minimized. That's not particularly useful to us, and that's a lot of CSS. That is not really a reset. Foundation might be worth looking at. Again, that was not really a reset, but a more opinionated set of styles, which is okay. Does Foundation still exist? Foundation. Do we have a nice, not minimized copy of the CSS file? Probably not on CDN.js. Get started with Foundation 5. let's get started with Foundation 5. What I want to look at Foundation 5 is just your resetty stuff. Download it. Not found. It's so old. Do you all remember Foundation? It's so old that their download link doesn't even work. We're going to not worry about Foundation. Mini reset. Let's see if that one has anything useful in it. Okay, here we go. Little Myery reset, ripping off the margins and paddings on stuff. That was kind of pending. I don't think I would ever do it quite like that. I would, if we're going to do it, I'd use it on the star element. But so far, I don't feel like a huge need to, perhaps. Hi, Emmett, by the way. Thanks for popping in. Setting some font. I don't care about that. That seems weird. Why wouldn't, if you're going to... Oh, I see. They're doing the margin, but not the padding on there. Oh, they're doing the inheritance box sizing thing like we are. Good for you. We like to see that, I think. We're setting images. Ooh, we're doing that as well, only we're using logical properties. Kicking the border off the iframe. I think we're also doing that. We're also collapsing borders on tables, or at least it's on the to-do list. So yeah, mini reset indeed. I like the spirit here, but we're already, we can't extract much out of that. Modern normalize, even I guess at the time of this old pen, even normalize was already old at that point, apparently. Let's see if we got anything good in here. Ooh, the inheritance box sizing again. Love to see it. Oh, this is Syndra's. Isn't this? Oh yeah, we have this open here, but I guess, this is just as good. Interesting. There should be good stuff in here. Resetting the tab size. We did that yesterday, only we went even more opinionated and made the tab size 2 instead of 4, because I prefer things hugging the left a little bit better. Correcting line height, we are already doing. Setting a font family, we are already doing, although we do not have a particularly deep font stack. We just rip system UI. Let's check, can I use for the system UI keyword? System UI. Oh, we're good. That's as modern enough as I need it to be. So I don't care about doing a deeper font stack than just system UI. It seems fine. The classic H1 thing that corrects within sections, that's fine. We're going to have our own HR styling we talked about. Not sure I care very much about ABBRs. This stuff comes from Normalize. Oh yeah, this is modern Normalize. So a lot of this stuff is just stuff right out of Normalize. We've looked at this now 2 or 3 times because Sanitize has the same kind of thing going on. Our to-do list, we're going to deal with field set and legend, I guess, if we feel like it. The rest of this is just normalized stuff. Interactive elements. Details weren't display block in Edge and Firefox. I don't know that that's the case anymore. And correct the display of a summary as a list item. I don't think that's likely to be an issue anymore either. If that's all that, is there anything, does this look exactly the same? Yeah, this is what we just looked at. So we're done. One less tab. Kill Foundation and that. Okay, that Snook tab, though, is relevant to this conversation. I think we should talk about it. Still no CSS reset. This wasn't that old. Well, I guess it's a couple years old now. But let's read what Jonathan Snook has to say. He was this is all related because Andy Bell published at one time, which we haven't gotten to yet, a CSS reset. And then I thought it would be fun to poke at Andy's reset and say I like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. And that's when this idea for making my own reset stuck in my head is when I blogged this. So we'll get there, but that's the context for Snook's blog post. And it said, it made me think of personal projects and remembering that I didn't use a reset for any of them. Well, sort of. The only thing that I consistently have in all my projects is body, ripping off that 8-pixel margin, essentially. I say sort of because this doesn't stand alone as part of a reset. It sits with all the other body declarations. I couldn't remember if I had written anything on CSS resets before, and sure enough, back in 2008, I wrote a bit about the rise of CSS resets and why I chose not to use one. Here we are 15 years later. My opinion hasn't really changed. Adding the styles when I need them has helped keep my files smaller and easier to inspect. To expand on that last point, one of my frustrations with using browser inspector tools over the years has been seeing CSS resets add a lot of unnecessary clutter, showing stuck out property after struck out property when I try to figure out what is being implied. So, yeah, still no CSS reset for me. I think that's a pretty okay opinion if you ask me. The bigger the project is, the web is a damn big place. The bigger that the project is, the more CSS you're going to write. And as you write more and more CSS, you are essentially applying a reset. You're applying consistency by applying styles at all. So that's kind of one of the principles here, is that, like, I don't know how to phrase the principle. I might have to think about it a little bit longer. Is that, like, I want to not do everything. I'm trying to make this small. Like, don't do too much is sort of what I mean by this. Like, there's some pretty niche stuff we'll run across, and if it's too niche, I don't even want to put it in there, because I don't know, I guess I don't care that much. It's just, for me, I don't want to, like, start a pen and then paste in all this stuff. I don't want to, like, make pens harder to look at, for example. And I know pens is just one use case for a starter like this. This thing could kind of go anywhere. But I don't want to, like, end up writing a bunch of CSS that I'm almost encouraging myself or others to use, that is a bunch of declarations of stuff that is never going to matter. So I don't know how to say that, but maybe I'll just link up that post there and say that you don't really need a CSS reset at all. I want and I should continue to not say the word reset. Like, you don't need a starter at all, really. So if you are going to use it, make it feel good. Like, be like, oh, that was useful. I'm glad I linked that up, that kind of thing. All right. And another principle might be, because we've been thinking about it, is like, one of the ones that we looked at had a whole bunch of custom properties in there. So we'll say no custom properties. Use open props for that. Open props is Adam Argyle's thing that just provides tons of custom properties that you can then use and sprinkle in as usage. That's not really what I mean by a starter or a reset in this case. Like, I don't really want to go down that route. Like, if you want to do that, I would suggest just throw in some open props and use that. Although open props might have a reset in it, I wonder. And that we might be interested in. Is there any kind of, should we see it on GitHub? Does Adam link up a kind of anything that's vaguely reset like? I don't think so. Index? It's just props all the way home. So it doesn't look like it. I don't know why I thought it did, maybe. I thought there was maybe there's some kind of opt-in to it or something. Was there anything on the homepage about that? Individual prop packs. Oh, there's a normalize in there. If you want to use normalize, you can rip normalize in there. Oh, there's still a whole bunch of custom properties you can see in there. So maybe this is maybe that's interesting to look at, actually. What's demo? Open props. A normalize using open props. What does that mean exactly? I don't know if that's working how Adam is intending it to be used here. Open props normalized demo page, aka everything but the bagel. Maybe this is working how he's intending it to work. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. It might be interesting to ask Adam what's that's about. We could put that on the research list, I guess. We don't need that open. Should learn more. Maybe we'll put that in there. Maybe we'll ask Adam especially why he used the word normalize there. Is it actually related to the normalized project or not? All right, so we did that, and then, okay, CSS remedy, and then we could be done with, ooh, this is hosted right on CodePen. Look at that old school CodePen assets URL. Oh, still works because we don't break URLs, yo. Just saying. Interesting. That is tempting. Setting up header styles, especially because I was just whining about, like, I hate it when an H6 is smaller than the body. Like, when would you ever want a header that's smaller than just the body copy? I really don't like that. I don't mind the idea of having just some nice sizing for header units, but I don't know. The defaults that browsers do are probably kind of fine. Like, do you need to do that? I don't know. Improve readability and some line height stuff. I think we're doing okay there. Overflow by default is bad. That's kind of interestingly opinionated, but I do kind of see what he means there. I don't mind that. That's actually kind of a cool idea. Didn't we say is pre's on our list, or is there some pre stuff already in here? I definitely want to handle pre. Maybe that'd be fun to do now. Let's put pre in there, and we'll say where we got it. Oh, we don't really know where we got it. It's just somebody's uploaded asset. Ooh, that user ID is me. So I put it there somehow. I have no idea where I got it, unfortunately. No by default that sounds kind of smart. So what I want to do is, like, we could probably just put it at the top here. Ooh, I desperately need to prettier this file format. Ooh, that if it doesn't work, it means prettier is mad about something. And it's not going to tell me unless I actually add the prettier block, I think, which is kind of by design at the moment. So now if it fails to format this file, it will tell me why, I think. There it goes. I was happier to prettier it now. Not sure why that's happening. I'm going to have to kind of think about that bug. But yeah, okay, whatever. We could bring the preview back for a moment. Why don't we put it above this little navigation? Let's put a pre tag in there. Pre. And I don't mind the fact that you're like, you ever do this where you have to be like, I don't know, we're just going to write some JavaScript. X equals 2, and then Y equals, I don't know, add numbers X and 7 or something. I'm the worst at writing fake JavaScript. I always do this when I write pre-tags where I don't have, like, isn't it a little bit tempting to write it like that? Like I would a paragraph, I would do that. But with a pre-tag that it's rendering that white space. Like that's what the pre-tag does. And it's going to render with that white space too. Like it's going to do that, and that's how it renders. I'm a little bit okay with, like, you almost wish pre would run a trim on itself, but it doesn't. So you just got to kind of know that you have to basically put it like that in your markup. And I'm a little bit okay with that. I don't think we need to like intervene. Not that CSS is really capable of intervening there either. Oh, that's interesting. So prettier. Wow, look at what prettier totally wrecked that pre-tag. That must be intentional. It must just be how prettier rolls. It really is unsettling to me to see it break up a tag like that. I'll put it back and see if it does it again when I save. Yeah, that's just how prettier likes to roll. Ugh, I don't like that, but we could dig in and see if there's settings. But it's not like it breaks HTML. It's just weird to see an HTML tag on 2 different lines like that. I don't know. But apparently that first bit of white space, that first return, is not rendering an additional line break here. And I guess I'm okay with that. The default browser styling of just making it monospace is okay, but like I use pre-tags pretty regularly, and I think in my reset I would want to like swap out the colors, add a little padding or something like that. What would be good to do here? We've already prevented it from wrapping. I think that's good. Is there a way to, like, if I wanted to go background black, color white, padding 1.5 rem or something, that's kind of the look I'm after, but I don't want to be so prescriptive about the background. Can I just flip the color of whatever background it already is? Well, I know we have current color, but current color is color, not current background. As I was thinking, you could color mix with the opposite, or can't you go filter? Ooh, maybe that'll work. Filter invert one. Yeah. Ooh, no, that was bad. It made the color white, but not the background. Why would it do that? Because white inverted is still white, but black inverted is white or something? Ooh. Background canvas. Will it go black then? Yeah, that's kind of cool. And then do we have to be careful? When you set background, usually you should do this. So canvas color. I kind of like it. I'm leaving it for now because it's my reset and I can do whatever I want. It's my starter and I can do whatever I want. I kind of like that. It is interesting though that, like, if I don't really need the filter, if I'm going to do that, then can't I? If I don't invert it, I could just say the background is the canvas color and the color is canvas. Oh, dang. Did that ever not work? Is it not canvas color? CSS named color canvas color. Maybe you have to go lowercase or something. Canvas. Not in there. Color scheme. I guarantee there's a, like, does it not? Oop. What happens in DevTools there? Was canvas color not one of them? Canvas. It's still on. We still use it in the temporarily in the CSS here, although I think we're going to change it. Oh, it's canvas text. Jeepers creepers. Bali, thank you. You also were on the ball. I kind of like that. And I would maybe make, no, I don't think I'd do anything terribly special for code. That must be in here too. That should, if it's not in this first paragraph, it should be. That first paragraph is loaded with stuff. This paragraph is nexted inside an article. Kind of a lot of spacing on that sup, but okay. Did Prettier do something weird there? No, I mean, it's just a normal space, I guess. Ugh, I do not love that. Why can't I resize this? Is that a bug? Is it because I have search open or something? It's not letting me resize this. There it goes. That's Prettier, putting periods and there's got to be something wrong with Prettier, right? Like, does Prettier, I guess, is that its handling of tags? Like, that paragraph looks like crap to me. I don't think that's Prettier's default behavior, is it? Like, if I put this period up by the one, which I guess is where I would want it, is Prettier going to force it back down? I wonder if that's some JSX setting or something. I hate that. What's the config file for Prettier look like? Bracket spacing true. You think that's more of a JavaScript thing? Ignore. Maybe let's get rid of that. Prose wrap. Let's see if any of that looks nicer. I don't even know what those settings do. I'm just trying stuff. Oh yeah, it's cool now. So Prettier prose wrap maybe sucks. Prettier prose wrap setting. Prose wrap. By default, Prettier will not change wrapping in markdown text since some services use line break sensitive renderer. I don't know that that's very satisfying. If you want Prettier to force all prose blocks to be on a single line and rely on editor viewer, you can use never. What was the setting before? Was it never? Now it's preserve. Do nothing. Leave prose as is. That's what we had. Maybe it was the other setting. What's this one do? HTML whitespace sensitivity. Specify the global whitespace sensitivity. Ignore. CSS. Strict. What did it have? Ignore. Maybe that's why. Should we say strict? Save. And then if we get, like, we fix some of this super weird, will it leave it alone now? Kind of. It actually helped and made it even better. I almost want to back out of the very first Prettier I did, but it's too late. But that's better certainly for a big old HTML document. We should reevaluate. Is this going to be cool now too, or will it still do that? Oh, nope, it still does that one. Oh my God. I'm going to have to dial in Prettier a little nicely here. Anyway, as far as a pre is concerned, I think that's a pretty decent style for my own personal reset. This type of thing, I think that looks like something I would like to see just kind of by default. Have that kind of code look. And by using Canvas and Canvas text, they'll flop out. So if it was, I guess we get lost on these journeys, but it's usually kind of worth it. Rendering, isn't that what we discovered, is simulate automatic dark mode. So now it'll look white. Oh, it doesn't. Why wouldn't it? Background canvas text. Canvas text is white, and this is not white. That's weird. I would have expected it to have been reversed. It's the same. It's like you're doing nothing. I mean, it's not like I hate it. It's not like a disaster, but like I thought it would swap colors in dark mode. I thought that was the point of using keywords like Canvas, is that they flop out. But obviously not here. Unless you have to do that too, and then that. Nope. Okay, not sure what's going on there, but whatever. We can move on for now, because I do want to finish this. So we were on CSS Remedy. Did we finish our Remedy? Did I close the... I think we finished it, right? Because the pre was the very last thing. Oops. No, it wasn't the last thing. Where's the pre? Oh, that. Okay. HRs we know we're going to do. Ripping list styling off. Probably not. We already dealt with those. Vertical line middle is weird. There goes my camera. Hold on. It just like gets bored and turns off sometimes. That's funny. In English, where the styling of the Q element, and then it's not even there. Like it was removed. Oh, look at this juicy one at the end. Can you see that down there? I wish I could, I don't know, I could bump it up maybe. Text spacing, trim start, allow end, trim adjacent, ideograph alpha, ideograph numeric. Improve spacing of punctuation marks and at script changes in CJK languages from CSS text module level 4. I mean, CJK is Chinese, Japanese, Korean, right? I don't think I want that for my reset. I thought, color me intrigued at what's going on there. It is making me think about hanging punctuation, though. Punctuation, and I'll put my own name in there because I have a blog post where I think I even say, oh, I'd probably put that in a default style sheet. That. Ooh, with a supports query for it, I think I'd be okay with just kind of, if it's supported, it's supported. I'd probably start a new project with that. I'm going to trust myself. We're doing it. Nice. Now my CSS starter is feeling very juicy now, which is kind of what I wanted. And we finished this, which is some old ass pen that I want to get rid of because I'm a little bit more interested. We finished Sanitize too, and looking at a little bit newer of resets. Even Jen's here is pretty old, but it's worth looking at for sure because it's Jen Simmons, you know. And then we'll look at Andy's, and then we'll look at Reboot, which this is probably there's a newer version of Bootstrap. Is it Bootstrap 5 or something? Yeah. Do they still do Reboot in Bootstrap 5? I would be extra interested in that. 5.3 Reboot? Not seeing it. It would still be interested to look at Reboot from 4, but does that mean Bootstrap itself has just totally stopped doing resets? That would be surprising. Do they use the word reset anywhere? Oh, they do. For improved cross-browser rendering, we use Reboot. 5.3's Reboot. Nice. They're using custom properties, which is against one of our principles, but we can at least check out what they're doing. How do we find Bootstrap 5's just Reboot piece of CSS? I guess we'll look on GitHub. Bootstrap, is this version 5? Do we have to find like a change log or something? How do we know what version we're looking at? Oh, we're looking at 5. That's good. So is there source? Is Reboot in here? Let's just go to file Reboot. Nice. Okay, yeah. So we get to look at their Reboot. Okay, that's on the list. I'm just going to close this because now we have the version of Reboot that we really want to look at. That's from version 5. Updated as much as last year. That's great. We'll consider layers. I don't think we read this blog post yet, but we should. This is Ellie Lowell's. That's not that old. Let's see. Yeah, last couple years. So we'll look at that one. That's much more modern. We'll look at Josh's from 2021, but updated as recently as 2025. That will be great. Excited about that one. Jake has a modern CSS reset that'll be fun to look at. And this is the prettier docs that we just left open, and Remedy, which we finished. So we have a much more trim set now. We have a good foundation, a lot of stuff that I find personally good. Let's see. The big ones. I want to leave notes for myself on stuff. A pretty good start. It's not very organized. I think in the end, we probably will just use one CSS file and make some nice organizational choices if we can, you know, forms, typography, random elements, that kind of thing. But it's already got a good start, but we haven't looked at a lot of the modern stuff. So I think tomorrow we'll rock start getting into the more modern takes on resets. And I think we'll find some juicier stuff there. And I think then we'll circle around and make sure the HTML demo page is just better than this. This isn't very exciting to me. I'd rather have it be more like a blog post, I guess, but have some cards and appier looking stuff in there as well. This isn't bad, but you know, at least it's got a table, you know, that I already don't like. Surely there's some nesting in there that's failing at. I like the pre-tag though. And then forms, of course. So I think that's where we'll leave it today. So it'll be much more exciting Thursday and Friday when we can look at the modern stuff, and hopefully we can just wrap it up on Friday. It'll just be like CSS reset week, and then I'll publish it, and then I'll be a CSS influencer and probably famous. So that'll be pretty good for me. All right. Thanks, friends. See you later. See you tomorrow.